Testing, one, two, three. Testing, one, two, three. The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory, yours now and forever. Your Son, who sacrificed himself on the cross for our sin debt in full, our King, our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Well, hope you guys got a lot out of. Kind of went all over the place, but oh, that's what I was doing Wednesday. My son, my eldest son, needs a new car. So Wednesday, I was trying for these Alpha. I'm not done yet. So yeah, he's still driving a 2005 hybrid Escape. It's got 300 and something thousand miles on it. The interior's falling down. He's 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 frugal. Look, he's got two. Kids. He's. I have nothing to say bad about what he's doing. I mean, so what's going on? What's this? Did you see this latest thing? So this Russian general turns about and says, "Oh, Russians," and there are a lot of Russians in Berlin. There's no question about it. But if we've seen anything from the way when the wall fell, basically East Berlin was really no different than what it was at the end of the war, 1945. Not the same thing that West Berlin was. So now, they're making this threat, and Germany is taking it very seriously. I tell you, I would take it seriously too, because um, this whole thing about Cobalt 60, like I said, you can't, it has to be made in a specific reactor. Okay. It's an isotope of cobalt. And what happens is that it's put into a neutron source. That's what creates this isotope. And it's used in medical applications, it's used in industry specifically a lot. A gamma ray source like that it can be used in industry tremendously, right? But that's why it's very controlled. This, from what I understand, came from North Korea and from Russian sources. From my understanding, there was Russian writing on it. There's also um, some Chinese writing on it, things like this, from the pieces that I've seen, and they're rots. So with the case, it's about this big, about yay thick. It can be anywhere, and that is lethal. That's not whoever, it's just, and I know there's been IEDs smuggled and everything else. So you got the perfect storm here. And the 17 transports that have been flown over to Israel and other places, that's very reminiscent of what happened pre-invasion in Iraq and other things. I mean, I know at least 20 military personnel, if not more, have been slaughtered. I know that they're going to say it was whatever, wait for a big helicopter to crash again or something. The crimes that this administration are perpetrating. Are there any questions before I go on to more wonderful news? No? Okay. Next. Have you guys ever heard of SCRs? Anybody? You know what that is? Or SLRs, SCRs? A long time ago, in the infinite wisdom, this came about in the late 90s. The electrical grids in areas that used to be controlled by fuses. Now, I'll tell you the thing about a fuse. Yeah, it it pops, it breaks, it bulls, you're out until somebody sends a truck out and replaces it. However, it protects. Okay, every single transformer on a pole used to be controlled and fused. Okay, with an actual fuse. Houses used to have. If you ever watch the Christmas story, houses used to have glass fuses, and believe it or not, they're safer than your circuit breaker. Did you know that if you read the fine print on your circuit breaker, you're supposed to cycle them, okay, twice a year? Twice a year, every 6 months, you're supposed to turn them off and turn them on. Do you do that? I had no idea. I had no idea until I saw my house burn, and it was caused from a 15 amp breaker basically sticking. Okay. It really, um, and the fire marshal told me, he said, yeah, because my wife disconnected the lamp because she was worried about it wasting electricity. He said, yeah, if she didn't disconnect that lamp, it would have been too much of a load, and it wouldn't have overloaded and caused a fire. Blah blah blah. Not blaming my wife. I'm just saying, You do something to I had no idea. Okay, so my new thing is that when I leave homes, I shut off breakers. I don't even leave them on. I shut them off as as many as I can. Well, fuses, and that's why they're used in cars. No, you have to go down and replace the fuse. It has a specific amp rating. Well, that's what they used to use. Now they use these solid state, which can be commanded. You have it'll look at these telephone poles. You see this little antenna that's on it and everything else. Some are radio commanded. Some are commanded through an internet line, whatever. The problem is that these things can now be hacked. They couldn't hack a fuse, which means they literally had to go up that pole and change that fuse to something else if they wanted to hack it or you would do some disruption. Okay, but now the electrical grid system, as well as other systems, infrastructure, have been hacked, and they don't want to tell you this. That's what I believe is the precursor to whatever is going to happen. Now, I'm not even saying it's a foxtrot phosphate. Oh no, I'm not. It doesn't. They let it happen. They just let so many bad people in here with so many things that I I can't see. I can't see how we're not going to have something. And it's just like they lie about everything. Like they lied about the job figures, and they're all, but nobody reports the revisions. So now they revised all these figures that I said, and which clearly show that we've been in a recession for a year and we're going into a Great Depression. But that's not what they say. They don't say that. See, they don't even talk about the revision. Oh, they're not meeting the expectations. And I'm telling you, that talk right there, those figures are going to be revised, which means if they came out with the truth. Look at the bond yields, people. Look at what's going on with the bond yields. Okay. Look what's going on with the dominoes that have fallen in China. Look what's going on with what's happening to the South China Sea and the confrontations. Look what's happening to Foxconn and their jaw market and how they're being pulled out, and how what's happening to their president, and he's running to be Taiwan's president. What's that all about? Why aren't you hearing any of these things? What's so significant about Taiwan? Taiwan has 5 nanometer technology. We don't even have it here. Why don't we have it here? Oh, it was invented here. It was invented in Texas Instruments, but then it didn't stay here. Why didn't it stay here? You know, you can't tie yourself into what's being broadcast and think that that is the truth. That's what they want you to see. That's what they want to tell you. You can't believe that. Okay. You can't believe that. You have to look past it. These are the same people that are telling you that inflation has been almost arrested, just a little bit. No, it's not. One of the most viral videos is showing that it's like 75%. Grace Go writes, it's hard feeling so helpless watching it before our eyes. So what can we do is pray and prepare. Um, I tried to prepare my sons for this. I, of course, did not want this to happen. I mean, I'm telling you the truth. My wife wants to visit her grandchildren, and she thinks I'm unreasonable saying, why don't we just get on a plane and fly and do this other thing, whatever. I'm I'm fine with that if it was just 5.5 hours. Okay. But that's not the case. That's just not the case. That's not what it's going to be. I you're a fool if you think it's just going to be what they say it's going to be. When I went down to, it wasn't that when I went down to Florida, and now I find out all this, and then even the other news things are reporting. Ray is like, well, uh, uh, in front of Congress, logically, okay, it dictates when they're going to do this. What are they going to do? They gonna sabotage my lone van? No. Okay. They're going to try to create havoc. Oh, I might, God, he has my back. But that's not the thing is, I'm going to be stranded someplace. That's what I'm worried about. Okay. Now, this affects me. I have cats. I have a dog. I have other things. I have other responsibilities. I have no problem. Okay, taking my animals. Okay, specifically my dog. My sister-in-law wants to w- watch these two lunatics, which is fun. I mean, they're cute cats. They're really nice. They, yeah, they're kids. Okay, they're gonna be rainbows, but then what happens? They get exhausted and they get into a coma mode, kind of like that. This is what kittens do. Okay, but to LaGuardia, these are big airports. You got to know they're going to be targets. You got to know that everything has been unchecked. Unlike if I went anywhere and the police stop me and I don't show them my license or whatever, and so and say I was going to a shoot. I've done this, by the way. I went to specific when I used to compete. Oh my god! I mean, if I didn't show them the everything, okay, ridiculous. And and meanwhile, do you think that bad guys would even? And that's what we have here. On Long Island, we have at least, I'm not kidding, at least 3,000 to 5,000 gang members with fully automatic machine gun pistols, loaded for 50, if not more. 9 mils. Ready to go. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do against that? Okay. We have one of the most highly paid police, and they're no joy anywhere because they're not putting anybody in jail except people like me if we even say boo. Okay. I'm not gonna say boo. I'm not gonna sit down. Where are they're all my safes. All I have is my shotguns. My That's it. I'm a sitting duck. Okay. I hear gunshots every night. I know what they sound like. There's a 7-Eleven that used to be over here. There's, and that's here. This is the suburbs. This is not even the city. The city is like lost. Forget about it. I wouldn't go in there with a SEAL team. And that's not even counting on what's going on. You have no idea what's going on with these people. Unbelievable what's going on. I am not the thing is I'm not worried about my sons. I am not. I am I'm ready in a moment's notice to just take my van up to my house in Vermont. I remember when I bought this house, it just, it was rough, a lot of work. And then this, it's a beautiful place. Now there's hit and runs, there's robberies, there's car thefts, there's Halloween candy that's stolen from kids, from people. You leave a basket, they take it. I think I had all of 3 groups of trick-or-treaters. That's how bad it's become here. That's it. To where that I used to have trick-or-treaters from 2 o'clock to, like, 10 o'clock, and these kids were so cute. There's a father that was run over. He died protecting his son. They were going for trick or treat. It's just a shame. It's beyond shame. It's I know for a fact that these guys here, there was a person that was at that they were going to take these guys and sacrifice them to Moloch. That's what they do here in the North Shore to black cats. There's a whole bunch of them, whole bunch of groups of these satanic Satanists. The amount of anti Semitism, anti Christianity, anti God The blasphemy, these people walking around and they're openly wearing upside down crosses. I it enrages me. It enrages me to such a point that I have to pray with everything I have to just. And then I know what I know, and I see, and I hear, and I don't know what I'm gonna. I just no. I have no trouble if I was gonna fly a private jet. I but yeah. So do you guys have a guided counter? Do you have one? If you don't, Amazon has them for about $108. They're pretty good. On my Patreon, I put a thing to it. Um, wouldn't be a bad idea because again, the authorities are not going to tell you what's going on. Well, because you can see what's going on. You'll be able to know the truth, and then make plans and get out of harm's way. It's you have no idea how bad that is. I mean, you're talking about even at this inch and a half rod. That thing is like just just 10 meters away from me. You're gonna get about 400 sieverts. That's like Fukushima stuff. Okay, that's so. I mean, if you're worried about, and I tell you not to worry about, I tell you to prepare too. You get a fire extinguisher, you get food, you get this. These things, you can at least know what the truth is, and it's not like they're an arm and a leg. Um, a good one at Amazon is $108. I think it's $108. Yeah, it's called. Okay. Now, it can't read alpha, but you got to realize a shirt can prevent alpha. Okay. But alpha gets transformed. So if you just get a lead washer, if you're in the midst of alpha radiation, it'll hit that lead washer and lead will emit X rays. Okay. That will detect X rays. It's an old, it's an old nuclear physics trick. So, but that's a decent unit. It's $108 and comes with a sheet. Good thing to have. There's all kinds of things. Okay, there. I happen to know that there's counterfeit stuff from cesium from the Ukraine. There's depleted uranium. There's all kinds of things that are being brought into the country besides fentanyl. I would tell you right now, I would get one of these they're giving them away for nothing down at the centers. I would definitely get one or two and keep them in your car. You never know. The life you help might be your spouse, might be whatever. I mean, from what I understand, I mean, if you just touch this crap, I mean, I've had cops that had to take three of these things in order to be recovered. So I think Narcan. It's called Narcan. So I definitely like a fire extinguisher. I'd get some of that. I mean, in my van, I keep a fire extinguisher. I keep bear spray. I keep MREs. I keep all kinds of things in that van. You know, because you never know. Um, I've I yeah I also keep a. I mean, I once helped a person out from their car was smashed in the window, getting them out. Car was on fire. I mean, I keep my K bar right underneath. It has a thing you can you got to be but all kinds of things can happen on a run. You don't know what's going to happen, so you got to be prepared for things. But I'm not helpless. I if I feel whatever, I do things. So I say to myself, okay, well, how could I do this? And what's the reality of it? And it's is a word cost benefit analysis. Cost benefit analysis goes with the risk and reward at the same time. What happens if something does happen and I'm at the airport? Yes, God will protect you, but um I I I do have hope, but at the same time, I'm not going to jump off a roof and say, "Oh God, I believe in you, so send some angels and stop me from breaking all my bones." I don't see any difference than you if you've been here in New York and you'd say, "Well, I'm going to go and fly out of LaGuardia," and then you hear all these things and you're saying, "I'm just going to hope for the best." No, that's just that's crazy. Okay, that's not realistic. That's just not realistic. What do I think the odds of something like that happening, especially Thanksgiving weekend? 50-50. Are you going to put your life on a coin toss? That's the cost benefit analysis. And now I know that my wife is in court. She's trying a case and she's doing this. So she has to be, so I'm like, look, I could tell you right now, you think you're just gonna fly there and fly back, and it's 1995. Well, we've seen from the last trip we did down to Florida, 16 hours does not make 1995. Okay. 16 hours in an airport is not what am I that's not no. I can't do this. I can't I was it was beyond. I can't do it again. Not going to do it again. It literally is putting my health at risk. So, you know, hey, good right now. I have no idea. Maybe 2, 3 years. I don't know. Reality is my stroke wiped out most of our savings. So to keep me alive, because Mr. Wonderful Obama changed my healthcare plan without telling me, by the way. I had Cadillac 100% coverage, but with the swipe of a pen, he changed it to 80%, even though I was paying $4,700 a month. But he changed it to 80%. So then all of a sudden, instead, I owe the hospitals 20% of my total medical costs, which were over $3 million. Yeah, I didn't go bankrupt either, but it wiped everything I have out, everything that I worked for 37 years. Not complaining, just stating some facts. So I know what Obamacare does. Oh, and these people, I saw them in the hospital, but I was told to pee in the hallway. Yeah. Oh, they get their own private room, emergency room. They get right in front of the doctor's face. Oh, yeah. Free medical everything. Isn't that wonderful? They have no worries in the world. Boy, I love them to pay my bills. They're finally tired. Consider sooner. Yeah. I wish I could. But my nut is my nut. Come on. Bed. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, you work and you work, and I like to work. I liked it. I really enjoyed what I was doing for a living. I every day I it was a challenge because I every day I was trying to solve problems, and every day I knew that people were working with things that I created to solve their problems. No, my wife hates. She likes Vermont for a week or two. She loves it here. Even if she retired, she wants to stay here. She doesn't like Texas. She again likes it for a visit. She she likes Marathon Island in Florida. She likes our boat. She likes here. I to be honest with you, I like it here. I love my house here. I love the island. I've lived here all my life. Where I am, I'm basically an hour away from my boat. I can then sail my boat in 40 minutes to the Hamptons. I can go to Montauk Lake. I can go to 3 Mile Harbor. Um, I can go to anywhere I want to. I mean, the thing is, and then 4.5 hours up in the mountains in my house in Vermont. It's already snowing up there. We got snow there last night. I'm gonna bring these guys up to Vermont in my car carrier. We have everything set up for them up there too. They gotta be running around like nuts up there. That house is gonna really, because there's 3 floors of stairs. There's only the farm ranch here. No, it's times like this. I miss I miss not having my ticket, my medical, and to be able to just get into a plane, jet, whatever, and just fly. I miss that. And sometimes like this. I even, yeah, my sons are in Dallas and in Fort Worth, respectively. I, um, I'm not worried about them. They can definitely handle themselves. Uh, but this is going to be Thanksgiving, my son's new house, and I was looking forward to that. But I don't think it's realistic to think that I can go there and come back like 1995 and do it in 10 days, fly out there and then fly back. I just don't see that as I just don't see it I don't see it practical. I don't believe it. I think that's a fool's belief that and I it's not 1995. It's just not. You can't just go and fly anywhere. I hear horror stories from everybody, and I experienced it myself. I'm not a bony ass like my wife who can just, entertain herself with her phone for 16 freaking hours. I can't do this. If I have to sit in the airport for 16 freaking hours, I am in absolute agony in many ways and shapes and forms. And, you know, I I make no excuse. I mean, I am what I am. I'm losing weight. I'm down to 342, but that doesn't matter. You know, I'm not 150 pounds. I'm not a size 6. So I'm 6'4". I mean, I I don't have leg room when they say that there's leg. There's no. What are you talking about? My knee is against the freaking wall, and I'm not doing anything. I mean, my thigh bone is that long. If I am guaranteed that I would be in real first class, and I would get there and there would be no delays and no nothing, whatever, okay, that's fine. But that's just not the case. That's just I was standing on lines from here to Hoboken just to get through security. For what? It's a lark. It's total BS. It's a total lark. They want to get whatever on board, they can get whatever on board. And think about it, an inch and a half in the case, an inch and a half that's this big. The rod, a rod of cobalt 60 is this big. They also have strontium 90. There's also cesium 137. Several things have been infiltrated into this country. This thing will kill everybody on that plane within 2 weeks of them getting off that plane. It'll kill everybody in the airport within 6 months. Anybody going into that airport, if it's there in a waste paper basket in the airport, and it'll kill everybody who's been around it in 2 years. This is not this is not fiction, people. This is something I know really about. Okay. This is what's known as cold ionization energy. You know why they call it ionization energy? It's so vile. It goes into your molecular structure and it literally rips the electrons from the atoms and ionizes them and destroys your DNA. It's like getting into a microwave oven, seeing your microwave oven and able to crawl into it and then somehow set it on a timer and then have it go on full popcorn mode. Yeah. And you're in there for a half an hour. Yeah. You're being cooked from the inside. Okay. We're talking just this big, a rod, and it's thin. So yeah, this is it. This is the size of it. And if I was holding it like this, my fingers would turn black within an hour. And the whole arm and everything would blow up like a big balloon. By the day after tomorrow, I would die from a pulmonary edema. My heart would be so full of fluid, I wouldn't be able to see. My brain would be swollen. Forget about it. Okay. This is what's known as a hard gamma ray source. And when I mean hard. Something like that can be dropped anywhere. These people are sick. They believe that they are doing good. They've been taught to believe that they are doing good. I have bird TV here. There's a bird feeder. The birds are eating. And here's There's chipmunks on the ground. So it's cat TV for the cats. There's birds like crazy. You might even get them to see them chatter. Uh, but I'm not talking about walking around in fear. I'm just talking about walking around and being observant, okay? And being understandable what you're gonna, you know, it's it's like you know, you don't buy fish from Japan. This is Inky. Inky went over here to take a look at the this is called um, Cat TV. So Inky is here watching the birds in the bird feeder, and he likes to sit right over here and look at the birds. You'd like it, right? Oh, you're purring. All right, all right. I'll let you watch. Let you watch. Anyway, that's called Inky. You can't go through the glass, Inky. He's doing a thing with his legs, ready to jump. Oh, you're ready to jump, Inky. Oh, you're running mighty predator. You're ready to do this. Yeah, you're looking at that bird. You're like, wow, the tail's making. The tail is the other cat. This guy is called Pogo. He's finally tired enough to where that he's not attacking his brother. They're a bonded pair. So I got them 2 weeks ago. Believe me, they've been keeping me busy. Can't believe how much poop these guys put out. It's amazing. So this guy's Pogo. He was during my Bible session. He was jumping around like crazy, and now this guy is Inky. So he's very elusive. He's a very stealthy cat. He likes to get into everything, but he's very stealthy about what he's doing. And we make this the kind of the cat's room because the my wife is a bird feeder right out here, so you know they just sit and look at the birds and the chipmunks and the whole shenanigans going on. We don't want them to be out. We until I train them thoroughly to where they're literally come and so where they're not doing it now. Then they no. Because they get along. Poga, believe it or not, gets along with Max. Enki's still a little skittish, but Pogo, I mean, Pogo will sit with Max when my wife's doing stuff. She just throws the food. Pogo's like a dog in a lot of ways. Brings stuff around with his mouth. Not this. This guy's a cat. He's elusive. He's gone into every nook and cranny in the house. He's like, uh, so now Yeah, and he's a little bit bigger than his brother, Inky. Inky's bigger than Pogo. So I don't know if that's going to be the same thing, but interesting enough, they follow me around the house. Pogo, I call him because every time he comes to me, his his tail's got a question mark. So, but they play together or they play with the dog. That's right. He does the old squat thing. But you see, what they're looking at is the cat TV, the channel, the bird channel's on right now, bird and chipmunk. So that takes precedence. I feel really bad because I mean I don't think I'm being unreal. I told my I don't think it's unrealistic to think that I'm just gonna fly. We're gonna just fly, and everything's gonna be fine. When we're talking flying in and out of the most congested time of the year, number one, Peter Buttigieg has just done a terrible thing. There's been threats. Number two, they have threatened us. Number three, and then my own information. Yeah. So I mean, I just don't think where I have the alternative. I have two. I said fine. You don't want to take the van. We'll take the Mercedes. I have Mercedes diesel. Gone to Texas before with it. No problems taking it. It's ready to go. Have a nice day. I can pick up a trailer and it can tow 7,800 pounds, more than what I need. I prefer the van because I have so much stuff in the van. Um, I could even bring my boy. I bought him a basketball thing, with him for the driveway. I never set it up here. Was going over and just didn't. It, they're literally a walking distance from the school. So I couldn't see and letting them, be sacrificed and tortured, which is what they do here. Insane Satan worshippers we have here on the island. They're good cats. They're smart, intelligent. They're loving, and I'll tell you, they've left their scent marks on everything. Thank God they haven't peed or anything, but I guarantee they've left hairs. And to me, this is a very bad time of year. I would find mice poop everywhere this time of year because it was 35 last night. So I had the fireplace, the wood stove going, and I would have, like I said, rats and mice. But with these guys, no. So somehow they put out this signal, this vibe, and I think that rodents know that. Are there any questions? I like good faith is here. How'd your trip go? Good faith. Are you still away or are you back home? These guys spend a lot of time grooming themselves, grooming each other. So they're very clean. We used to use hard um, gamma sources to tell thickness and specific um, s- s- scans that we used to do for Department of Defense work, and very very nasty stuff. Gamma is just that's the worst of the worst. You can't get anything that's hotter than that. Anything else? Are there any questions about Ezekiel 36? Isn't it amazing that God saw this and showed it 2,600 years ago? Of course, He's, you know, but He gave us the word and He showed us this is what's going to happen and why. People don't understand the why. Oh, I have no problem, good faith, going to Texas as far as driving. My wife says she can't stand the time. Like if we drove, it's 10 days, so it's three days there, 3 days there, 3 days there, and then 3 days back. Okay, so she says, well, she's got that time, but that she only we can only be there versus if we flew, we'd be there for weeks under the Sunday. But I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't think that is. I don't think it's practical. I just don't think I don't see it with everything that's going on. I just don't. I don't. I think you're really setting yourself up. Everything's going to be fine. I mean, that's like 1985 mentality. That's before 2001. And like I said, knowing what I know and seeing what I'm seeing and seeing what I'm seeing, yeah, no, I don't think that's very good thinking at all. I just don't think that. I think that I have no problem driving because I can drive, and I can drive it, and I can relax. I can do 8 hour drives. No, 8 hour drives are nothing. Standing on my head. Boom. Eight, eight, eight. Boom. I'm there. Eight, eight, eight. Boom. I'm there. Back. No problem. I need a car there anyway. So yeah, it's not a problem to drive this. Not a problem at all. I could, please, I could do it in two, but that's only gonna, what are you paying for that? It's not worth it. I've done it to where it's not worth it. So 8 hour days driving, absolutely, absolutely, totally doable. Relaxed, eat, have a good time, relax. She hates it. She thinks it's a waste of time, and she hates it. Um, I don't think it's a waste of time if you're accomplishing something. I don't. I mean, like I said, I would have no problem flying myself. I would have no problem going down to MacArthur and flying a private jet to whatever. Okay, it's not my budget now. I don't have. I lost all my ratings in '95. I've flown. Last time was like 2003, but that's not the point. I can't do it. So that's it. So my son could do it, but he doesn't have the time to do it, and he doesn't have the money to do it. So it's not a practical thing. Believe me, I looked into everything. Okay, even these tickets, first class, they're talking about $10,000. $10,000, and she has to be back in 10 days. I just don't see that. I just don't see how it's going to happen. I guarantee there's going to be some kind of delay, some kind of problem, some kind of whatever. I just don't. I don't think it's going to happen. Just life flowing. I I can't. I can't do I can't do a 16-hour thing again. I can't do it. It physically. I'm not kidding. I had to recover. It took me for 4 days to recover from that afterwards. Okay. My back still is killing me from that seat. Still. I walked around. I tried to do this. There was no place to walk. The place was insane. It was freaking nuts. I can't do it. I can't do it. Okay. My back is just, I feel every single helmet that I took, 42 years ago. Every single one. 44 years ago. Wow. You play for 18 months, and yeah, it's great. There's 50,000 people and whatever, but you're 18, you think whatever, but I have the time to drive. I have the time to drive. She doesn't want to waste her time driving because she only gets to spend 3 days there. So the majority of time is going to be spent 6 days driving, 3 days there, 3 days back. She doesn't want to do this. Okay, I get it, but again, it's not 1995. This is before I heard about the strontium, the cesium, the cobalt 60, the IEDs. Where do you think they're going to put all these things, people? What did I show you? I showed you just this big, this size. They smuggled these into this country. Rods like this. One rod like this can be left in every airport. It will kill everybody that goes through that airport. Not if, will. And not a good thing. Not a good way. Am I afraid of dying? No. I'm afraid of wasting his grace. I see it no different than jumping off the roof. No difference. He'll even say to me, did I give you the ability to learn about these things? Did you know about these things? This is how you treat my gift I gave you and all. I mean, I can hear him tell me right now. Yeah, and then I'm putting her at risk. And then how will I feel when I know that? How would you feel? Would you feel responsible? Would you say, "Well, I told them"? Well, I get to say, "I told you so" when I see her hair fall out and her go through radiation sickness and to start shitting out her organs and stuff, and let all that stuff happen? No, this is, God does not want you to play handball on an interstate. I believe in God and He will protect me. No, it doesn't work that way. God permits things. You want to take a gun and put it to your head and squeeze the trigger, He will let it happen. He gives you the freedom to do that. He saved her life for a reason. And it's not for just flying on a plane to see her kids, her grandkids for a week. There has to be a cost benefit analysis here. Okay. This is not this is not 1995. I will say it again. It's not 1995. It's 2023. We are all a target. This administration's put a target on our backs. There's, you ready for this? There's not one of these. No, there's over 144 that were smuggled out of reactors, and they're all over the world. We don't know where they are. We know maybe over a dozen made it into this country, if not more. A dozen. Where do you where would you put your sicko? Where would you put this? Remember, everybody comes within 300 yards of this. You're going to die within 2 years. Not a good way to die either. I'm not living in fear. I'm living in, I have seen what this stuff does, and you don't understand this. I have experienced this, okay? Not myself, mind you. I have seen what happens to a person in a gamma accident that was only 10 sieverts. This is 400 sieverts. You have no idea what I'm talking about. You don't understand. This is kind of like when Jesus comes again. And remember, it's even written. It says that people will. Did you ever see and Raiders of the Lost Ark? You ever see this Raiders Lost Ark, where that guy that the whole thing opens and they just that the whole figure melts and stuff? Yeah, that's what happens when you're exposed to 1,000 sieverts. Okay, 400 is just less than that, about half. It's not, you're acting like I don't. I believe everything. That's not the thing. I know where I'm going to go, but I'm also knowing that it's just foolish. This is tempting fate. There's no question about it. I look at it that 50-50, 60-40, something like this. I'm not saying 100%. If it was 100% either way, I would make arrangements. I would say things, but that's not the case. I don't know what it is. I think it's a coin flip. Am I willing to risk everything, my wife's life, myself? I mean, okay, we'll let her go, Bob. You drive. I mean, I'm on a coin flip. I would never forgive myself. And I went down to Florida to see my mother the same reason. Okay. And it did absolutely no good, really. I went there and what did I see? What changed in the relationship? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I did everything I could. I can go to God now and say, you were there. But to me, this is like coming in front of the Lord and Him saying, I gave you a brain. I showed you this. You were there for this incident back in 1973. You saw what happened. You know what 10 sieverts can do. You can just surmise what 40 times that will do. 40 times. You people just don't understand. You just don't have a clue of what we're talking here. I'm glad that you don't understand. I mean, just if you're within 200 meters of that, anywhere in that whole facility, 200 meters. That's that's basically 600 600 feet. Within a year, you're going to lose all your white blood cells. And within 2 years, either you're going to die from leukemia or something like that. And it's just going to be awful. Awful. If you get within 100 meters of it, you're going to suffer radiation sickness. You're going to, you have a 50-50 chance of living 2 years tops. But most of the time, your innards would die. Anything closer than that, it's just 100% fatal, but it's the kind of thing where you're literally cooked inside. We can, like I said, I showed, the radiation detector, $108. Amazon's got one. It detects beta and gamma. Doesn't detect alpha, but you can purchase a lead slug. Um, lead will emit X-rays if they're in the presence of an alpha source. It's a cheap way of getting. I don't have that kind of problem. I did this trip with my mother. That was the reason why. Okay. I got her a birthday present. Believe me, I went beyond. But the thing is that my sons are in good shape. They're fun and they're safe. How will they be if something happens to us? How will it affect them? See, if I stay here, I'm gonna be safe because I can get out of here. I can be in my other place in 4.5 hours. I can be there in an hour and a half if I fly a plane. Okay. Yeah. So I worked with this stuff. Okay. and I used to wear TDL and everything else, and I've worked with. That's the hottest thing I've ever worked with, and it's extremely, extremely dangerous. It's uh, it's there. It like I said, the analogy would be if you could crawling inside a microwave oven and putting on popcorn for 15 minutes. Same difference. And that's if you walk within 200 meters of it. 200 meters, people. This is someplace in the airport, that little pencil, inch and a half. Inch and a half. That's how big it would be. Inch and a half. These rods. Anywhere. They're hard gamma emitters. So, and the IEDs and everything else. I am not I'm not even worried that I'm gonna be exposed. I'm telling you what's gonna happen. It's a 50-50 chance that something's gonna happen somewhere, and I'm gonna be sitting without a plane, without a flight, without with and can't get a rental car, I can't do and my wife is gonna be pissing and moaning, "I gotta be in the court, judges, blah, 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 blah." I know I can do this if I just get in my van and drive. No matter what happens, this is what I'm trying to say to you. No matter what happens, I'm gonna have I have a means, I have a way, and no problem. That's how we can do it. Not gonna be able to do it the other way. The other way is a 50-50. So that's like going to a blackjack table and putting everything you have on the table, one bet. So you could win or you could lose. Everything you got, everything you own, everything you have, there it is. One bet. Are you willing to do that? Everything you've worked for. So that's it. I I don't I don't think that's gambling. I don't gamble. That's gambling. It has nothing to do with not believing in the God, not believing in the Lord. It has to do with your gambling. You're gambling for flesh. Yes, it's nice to have my grandsons grab me, hold me, and stuff like this. Oh, grandpa, blah, 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 blah. Fine. Let's get in the car. Let's do it. I have no problem with this. That way, I don't have a problem if all the flights are grounded, if there's an incident, whatever. I can take different routes. I can go different ways. I can do different things. I don't have a problem with this. I just had the thing serviced. Mercedes is up for. I'm going to have the Mercedes. Whatever. I have two cars that I can do this. I have actually three cars, but I'd rather do it in either the big Mercedes SUV or the van. I'd rather do it in the van. If I have to, I have a queen size bed in the van. Boom. I have food in the van. I have a refrigerator. I have power. I have everything. So I have no problem. I had to take it. I had to move my son. I had to move him from Pax River, Maryland to a base at Pensacola. I prayed hard about it. He needed me. He's like, this is after my stroke. He's like, Dad, I need you to do this. I need it. and it was an epiphany, which means I had to put my hand in God because I knew I couldn't do it. But God came through and did it because there's no way I could have done it without His hand helping me do it. Because I had done a drive, I'd never done that. I did it many times before my stroke, had never done it since. And I drove like the old days. It was amazing. Backed up trail, everything. So then there's no question because everything that we brought there with his truck were that was it. They had nothing. Their Navy shipment stuff came damaged, dirty. It came a week late. He had 2 kids, toddlers at the time. And God showed me, my cardiologist said, "Oh, you have to take the Pfizer shot." I said, "I don't have a choice." He said, "Yeah, I know, but you need to take the." All of a sudden, when it came to me having the shot, it was Pfizer, and my wife got Moderna. They had the Pfizer for me. I made so to me that was another sign. I didn't recommend it for anybody else. I said, for me, this is what I have to do. I got to do this. My son needs me to do this. I got to do it. That's the only reason why I did it. But in order to go on that base and do this, you had to have that stupid card. And I had orders from him because this governor wasn't going to let me leave or get out of or come back in the state. The one that resigned. Please. It was beyond terrible. I just can't, and the thing is like I'm saying, and then then I'm expected to do all kinds of things, and when I can't, then then it's a problem. Well, that's I'm still paying for the Florida trip. My back is still paying for this. It's killing me. I can't do anything. I don't know if you've ever had a herniated disc and you've had the sciatica back pain, but let me tell you something. If you're not taking the drugs, which I'm not, it's just it's I can't do it. This I just can't do it. My blood pressure will give me another stroke if I do this again. I'm in pain now. My blood pressure is high every single day since I did this trip. And for what? Fine. I can now go to God and say, look, you saw I did. I tried to do everything I could. And what happens? Nothing changed. So, okay, fine. I don't have any regrets. I don't have any regret for what I did for my son. I know from the hug and from everything else and from those grandsons of mine in the new house, we brought something they could sleep on. We brought all the stuff that he loaded up his car with toys and everything else that around his car. I mean, I had the van was totally filled with his crap. I mean, my car trailer was totally filled with his crap. I feel bad. That's why I'm upset. I feel terrible. Okay, I feel I still have people every single day, Jewish lawyers, mind you, that keep singing the praises of Biden and the praises of our governor and the praises of this. And it just infuriates me. And they believe the tripe that the media puts out, every single bit of it. And nobody wants to disappoint their wife. I didn't, I'm not, I mean, 43 years with the woman, and I don't want to disappoint her. I'm disappointed myself. I just don't see why I can't. I can do this. I've done it. Oh, listen to Ray. Oh, we made great strides into handling this kind of thing now, since this administration has taken office. What? Are you referring to the 120,000 UN forces that are now here stationed around the country? 20,000 outside of each city? Is that what you're talking about? Is that what he's referring to? Does anybody know this? All the people who've been on this channel know it. They reported it to me as well as I knew about it. All these UN troops. Is this the first you guys are hearing of this? Are they setting us up for something? What they love is chaos. Is this going to cause chaos? If one of these so-called dirty bombs goes off, is that going to cause chaos? Doesn't take a college education to do this. Does it meet with their agenda? Are they going to be blamed for the problem? Can Gruesome and Witless still win the election? Oh yeah, you think it's going to be Biden? No, 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 no. It's going to be Gruesome and Witless. Yes, the one who he's going to get up in the. Is he going? Yes, he's going to lie. He's going to say whatever he needs to, and people are going to vote for it. One only truth. No, 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 no. If you don't do this, you won't be able to have an abortion. That's all they care about. Yep. They certainly don't care about. They certainly are not gonna. I mean, even our mayor. And believe me, I know that it affects elections because I'm is my governor Zeldin. The governor is not Zeldin. Who's my governor? Oh, and she does what she wants to do. Does anybody call her accountable? No. So what happened to? They had an attack. They had a hacking. Has it been in the news? Has anybody reported it? How was it resolved? Did anything? Nope. Nobody talks about it. There is no news. There is no reporting. We're living in, might as well living in Russia with Pravda. No different. You can't find out anything about anything. How did I know? Oh, I know because I'm in the IT. Okay. So by state law, I knew what they had to have set up. I knew by state law they had to have a mirror system set up. There has to be. By law, has to be a mirror. Minimum, minimum one. Minimum one. Okay? And okay. You ready for this? Watch this. Okay? Minimum. Minimum. All right. See this picture? Let me show you this. Okay? These are two mirrored servers. Okay? One here, one there. Okay? This is the front end. There's four separate i7 processes just here handling the front end. That's this is set up as an AI for defense. Okay? Which means this is just the CPUs. The RAIDs are underneath. See? This all those are RAIDs. Okay? Two of these RAIDs make up what's known as called a RAID 10. All right. And there's two RAID 10s. All right. Two RAID 10s and one, two, three, four RAID 5s. And I just added another RAID 10. That's another 8 physical RAID drives making up a RAID 10, which is basically um, it's a mirrored RAID 1. Okay. This is each one is on a separate power supply. Each one's on a separate bus. Each one could lose the whole power supply, lose the whole thing. They could lose half their drives on each one. Still maintains, still maintains data and still runs. And they're all mirrored. Okay. That's just a law firm. Now, well, everything is DoD encrypted, 4096-bit encryption on everything, and everything is accounting. Everything is accounting, which means that's called a zero transactional base, which means everything that goes in there can't come out. It's like a big Dropbox, which means every single time there's an entry, if you make a mistake, you have to put another entry that subtracts the entry that is there. This guy grabbing a hold of my mic cable, headphones. Hi. There you go. There you go. You're good, Mo. You're good. Oh, you're good. You're saying hi to everybody? Anyway, okay. So these are the minimums by law that you have to have. Now, Most institutions, okay, like for example, Citibank, they not only maintain what's known as called a trinary mirror system, okay, that's three separate physical locations, plus they have an archive mirrored location, dual, in the Adirondacks. Every single solitary transaction goes on these three systems here and goes on those two systems in the Adirondacks. And then you ready for this is it. They take this stuff and they still microfilm it. It's printed on film and kept. Okay. They don't have to do this. They do it because they want to be able to show you that record, that thing, that transit. That's the reason why if you're going to do business with them, remember the Fed can only bail them out 2.5% of their holdings, of their assets, which means, yeah, the Fed can't bail them out. That's it. So if Citibank goes, that's it. Okay, then it doesn't matter. Okay, but so I knew that the state was lying immediately because they knew they were hacked that weekend. And yet they shut down the systems Tuesday. And they didn't bring the systems back on until Friday. Did they get my information? Yeah. Did they get my data? I don't know. They're still lying about it. They're not telling you the truth. Did they pay ransom? Most everybody paid ransom. MGM paid ransom. Wells Fargo paid ransom. Bank of America paid ransom. Sloan Kettering paid ransom. Stony Brook paid ransom. How is it that these guys didn't pay ransom? What they pay with? They paid with my tax dollars if they did, right? I'm not saying they did. I know. We're gonna end the show soon. I get it. You got to go out. All right. Well, at any rate, he has to go out. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I enjoyed having you here. I'm sorry that I got a little emotional. It's just very frustrating. Uh, please, I know it's none of your people's faults. It's not. It's just very frustrating. Anyway, God bless. You have a nice weekend. Be safe. All right, Max. Want to say goodbye? Say goodbye. Woo! Woo! Yes.